This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Council, good evening. I'd like to call to order this Haslet City Council meeting on Monday, October 20th, 2025 at 7:02 p.m. Full council quorum is present. If you would bow your heads, I will offer a short invocation, and then we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Almighty Father in heaven, we thank you for your many blessings and your tender mercies and your grace. We pray for the peace of the Middle East, Israel, on their very fragile agreement that's been made. We pray that it keeps and stays in place. We ask for your blessings and your guidance over the United States of America, our great state of Texas, and our city, Haslet, Texas. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. You'll stand with me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 3, citizen participation comments. Do we have any speakers?
We do. We have one email and one speaker.
One email and one speaker. Let's have the speaker. Is that in person?
One person.
Yeah, okay, please. Who is that?
Joette Keene, 1410 Poppy Drive, Haslet, Texas, 76052. Thank you for this opportunity to address an item I saw on tonight's agenda, which I saw posted last Tuesday evening, specifically Executive Session 9A regarding HC EDCB, Member Place 2, and the HC EDC Attorney. Having seen this item, I was reminded of the deplorable actions by the Council at the August 4th meeting where Mr. Frank Gatto was accused of several items, presumably at the request of Board President. During that character assassination, Mr. Gatto was accused of vulgar profanity as a reason for dismissal. The statement he was accused of making was after the meeting was actually adjourned, and then the acronym BS for the term he uttered in frustration was actually said 6 times by Councilmember Watkins. I guess we couldn't translate that into vulgarity. Ironically, at the November 11th meeting, when Councilmember Watkins actually did speak vulgarly during a meeting, it was subsequently requested by citizens that he be admonished by the other council members for this. Item 9B on the December 9th City Council agenda. Despite his even more egregious statements, Councilmember Morrow made the motion to disapprove the motion for council to censure Mr. Watkins, seconded by Councilmember Horick. But fast forward to August 4th, and given the same accusation about Mr. Gatto, Mrs. Morrow brought the accusations forward, and this council voted to remove Mr. Gatto as a result. Hypocrisy at its finest. Mr. Gatto was also accused on executive meeting infractions, including informing the mayor of slanderous comments made by Mrs. Wirtz, which Mr. Gatto explained in his legal standing as to why he felt obligated to disclose this. Of course, Mr. Watkins, with his expert legal knowledge, questioned the legal rationale of Mr. Gatto, who, by the way, is a federal attorney. However, I can attest that Mrs. Wirtz, in fact, has stated on several occasions outside of executive session, accusing the mayor of backdoor dealings with the pastor and attorney regarding 210 Main Street. I heard these personally several times. Yet, despite slander, which this council last meeting refused to allow investigation into for those allegations, Mrs. Wirtz continues as president of HC EDCB board. Further, Mr. Gatto felt he had the right to speak with the mayor and actually anyone on council to get their ideas. Mrs. Morrow went into great lengths to correct Mr. Gatto on this point, and that there should be no direct requests to the board. Ironically, following the budget meeting held last month, Mrs. Morrow made the remark to me when I questioned where money for the proposed budget amendments would come from, that the council would get the funding from the B board because they have millions. In this past HCEDC board meeting, 2 agenda items were approved to grant funding for those projects by the board. So which way is it? I'm curious how those agenda items got proposed. Now we see the suggested removal of yet another HCEDCB board member, assuming this has also been triggered by Mrs. Wirtz and the allies she has on the B board. I have submitted open record requests into the correspondences that led to both Mr. Gatto and Mrs. Parker's removal, and I look forward to receiving a full disclosure by the board and this council on those communications. Now, having either called in or listened to the HCEDCB board meetings since April of 2025, I'm pretty certain that there is vindictiveness toward both these members who have been targeted for removal because they questioned Mrs. Wirtz's efforts to donate the 210 Main Street property to the Park Board. Mrs. Wirtz stated to me on more than one occasion that she was proposing this transfer because of her conclusions about the mayor and collusion, and these board members knew her position on this as well. Of course, the executive session item on tonight's agenda for Member Place 2 is now moot. At the recent HCEDC board meeting, Mrs. Parker resigned. She was the 3rd resignation from this board. During this meeting, Mrs. Brandon stated that Mrs. Parker's offense was contacting a realtor in order to get information about what had transpired. I assumed that this would have been part of the dismissal argument to the council, TBD, when I see the open record responses. However, again, ironically, it appears council finds it perfectly permissible for Councilmember Carruthers and Councilmember Watkins to contact TxDOT for information. But a board member can't do the same as a concerned person. So when do the rules actually apply, council? Finally, 2 others, outstanding members of the community, previously resigned because of the dysfunction of the leadership on this board and their disagreement with Mrs. Wirtz and behaviors of others, including Mrs. Laura Schlauderhoff, sending a nasty email to one of those resigning board members. I know this because I spoke personally to them as to why they resigned. I really wanted this all to be made public because there is such bad optics with what has transpired, and I think the public deserves to see what is going on behind the scenes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Keene. Do we have any other speakers?
I have one email. I'll go ahead and read that now.
State their name and their address, please.
Let's see, it's from Laura Slaughterhoff, 1195 Wild Senna Way. I'm not sure if this is the appropriate time to ask, but does the site plan for the Toyota dealership include landscaping that border Harmon Road? I do see a fence. I see on the plan 2 notes, future, I think that word is drive approach with Harmon Road improvements, new drive approach. I don't know, it's kind of an incomplete sentence. What is meant by those Harmon Road improvements? I know the warehouse going south of the dealership is straightening out the road. Carrollway residents will appreciate a buffer between us and the dealership. Thank you for reading my comments. Laura Slaughter.
Do we have anybody online?
We do not.
All right, then. Since there's no other speakers in the audience and none online, let's go to item 4, community interest. For a general and special election is November 4th, 2025. Early voting is Monday, October the 20th. Today it started, and it will go till Friday, October the 31st. please inquire about that. Is it 13 constitutional amendments? 17, excuse me. 17 constitutional amendments. They deserve everybody's read and decision-making on that. Also, you've got a school bond election up. And also what affects our area directly is, well, constitutional amendments and the bond, but is Senate District 9. Veterans Day event. We'll have a Veterans Day event. It'll be held Saturday, November the 8th, 2025, from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Veterans Memorial Garden. The event is presented by the Fort Worth VFW Post 10374 and the City of Haslet. 4C, City of Haslet Offices and the Public Library will be closed Thursday, November 27, 2025, and Friday, November 28, 2025. The Haslet Public Library will close Saturday as well on November the 29th. And I can't believe it already, but Christmas in the Park, we're announcing that. That'll take place Saturday, December the 6th, at the Haslet Community Park from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. So, what's that saying? You better not pounce, you better not cry. Santa Claus is coming.
And I'd like to add to this, Christmas in the Park. If there's anybody that would like to volunteer to work on Christmas lights, please contact my wife, Dana Horak. I'd be glad to help get you set up for this. Yes, we have the fire truck ready to go.
And a 20-foot extension ladder. Just kidding. And that's true. If anybody would like to volunteer, Park Board and city staff can always have and would enjoy that. Contact Miss Katrina White, Special Events Coordinator, and she will help you out. Administrative reports. Council, does anybody have any question on any of our reports?
Yeah.
Yes,
I got a question. Mike, I know you're in the audience here. Is for Haslet Park, is blowing grass clippings into the street a violation?
Yes, sir, that is a violation because of the road hazard. It's also a violation of TCEQ rules, so getting that into a waterway would be a violation as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mayor Halsey,
yes.
I just wanted to say thank you for the Republic Service report. That was interesting to know any issues they're having and how much trash they're picking up. So thank you for that.
Well, it took a little while, but they have got it down now. Anybody have any other questions with regard to our reports? Not, I'll move on to updates on active items, projects, and event recaps. Mr. Tucker, you'll be up on this. The fire station sanitary sewer project, and then the fire station expansion project.
Okay, could you open that PDF for me, Richard, if you don't mind?
And Mr. Anderson can assist in that review as needed, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I was here last time. There really has been no major update to this. They are still, like I said, that line is active. It's substantially complete. The only thing that's going on is there's some migrating groundwater. And they put in some, I would say, clay dam. We use the flowable fill, but the intent is to stop the travel of water going down the ditch line of the sewer line, and that'll help the contractor finish up those remaining drainage and driveway. And pretty much once those are completed, that job's completed and we won't update any longer. Next slide. The fire station expansion project, as everybody can see, we have steel walls going up. They've actually started the demo to tie in the roof line today, and that we will have the front of the fire station parking closed starting Wednesday until they are complete. Right now, everybody will need to use the rear parking, but they are making great progress on that. Next slide. And that was just, for anybody who hadn't seen it, that's the steel up. Next slide. So the last, the Brentwood lane repairs was on here. So as pretty much all the areas that have that roller compacted concrete, myself and Public Works, we went and kind of did a complete walk of that and assessed the areas and the varying amount of deterioration. And we've turned all that over to Mike's office there for engineering. We're having them develop a remediation plan, a cost estimate, and some options of how to move forward. Brentwood had specifically had some smaller patches that have grown substantially, and so they're already a part of a pavement repair plan that's going to be coming in the next meeting. And then we found pretty much that roller compacted concrete has been less predictable than other types of materials. So where you can predict concrete that has a small hairline crack won't, degrade at such a fast rate, we found that RCC is unpredictable. In certain areas, it's just come to pieces, and other areas haven't moved, So, looking at the next slide. Just for example, this is the same area from two different directions, unfortunately, but we went from this to that, and I believe that was in about 18 months. That was the only two pictures we had, but it shows how much movement is going on and how, like I said, typically we wouldn't see one that was this expanded that in 18 months. Next slide. And then this is a section of Odessa in one of the worst parts. So these are just an idea of what we're looking at, but all this has been assessed and turned over to Mike's capable hands, and we'll be coming back with a remediation plan.
And we'll see that at the next council meeting, right?
Correct.
Very good. So the moral of this story, one, Haslet has some of the worst soils, and Mr. Bill Barrett out there will probably attest to that as well, that you could find in North Texas.
Mr. Mayor?
Excuse me just a minute. I'll
Yes, sir.
finish. And on top of that, this particular kind of concrete has no business being used. And the accelerated rate of failure is just unpredictable, but we have noted here, and it was recent drive-throughs and to confirm the work that needed that led to realization of this. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor and James, I just had a quick question. When we were talking about the expansion of the fire station, on the other side of that fire station is a driveway that goes back to the baseball fields. Has there ever been any concern raised about all the traffic that goes right next to the fire station there, and maybe needing to move that for safety, especially as the fire station continues to expand and have more traffic in and out of it itself?
None
and the
have.
commingling of
It's
those
not
traffic?
It's not been raised by the fire department.
Okay.
And that is something that we do talk about.
Because we'll also have the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office housing out of there and having their,
But that'll be not associated with that drive. That goes to the fire fields.
Right, Mayor
but what
Holsey.
I'm saying is their cruisers are going to be behind the fire station, the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office, in an enclosed, fenced-in area.
Correct.
And they're going to have to drive around the fire station to that side where the driveway is
No.
to get to the front.
The cruisers will have a different path.
They're not coming around that side?
Not the ball field road side, no.
Okay. Thank you.
It's on the opposite side of the site.
There's going to be a driveway
On
over
the
there?
north side, yes.
Okay.
I went back and I've been looking back at the August 2nd budget workshop, and it was mentioned, I thought you mentioned it, that Kurt had made comments and complaints about that drive and the heavy use, and that's why the connectivity or the drive through to Blue Mound Road was so important. So,
No, I don't have any documentation of that. He
Okay.
never registered that did he register that complaint
I mean,
with
you just said that Kurt had complained.
No, I don't recall stating
Okay,
that, ever.
yeah, okay, I'll go back and
Yeah.
find it.
It would certainly be,
I I
we
know.
would bring forth if that
I know where
ever
it is.
were an issue, but we talk about that regularly.
Okay. I was wondering if council would get a copy of this information that was presented.
Get a copy of what?
The information that was just presented.
Absolutely, we can,
Thank you, sir.
we'll provide a PDF of that.
Thank you.
All right, then. Very good, thank you, James. Let's go to our consent agenda. Council, you have 3 items. Is there any items that you have question on or would like to pull?
Mayor Halsey, are we going to discuss 6D?
Say it again.
We skipped 6D, or you skipped 6D?
6D, oh, excuse me, I did. TxDOT had a workshop. It was 4 days, 8 hours a day for value engineering. And that the Tuesday, 2 weeks ago, was the first day. Mr. Anderson, and David Rogers attended that meeting, and it was introductory of the project. There were many members associated with TxDOT, and that was an opportunity for Haslet to express all its concerns with regard to that project, and we were grateful for that. The next Wednesday and Thursday was dedicated purely to that engineering team, and they focused on alternative designs. How could they accomplish this in different ways? Friday, Mr. Anderson and Mr. Rogers attended that meeting for a summary. And Mike, do you want to brief them on what you got out of that summary? I know here in the future, that team will issue a report, but it's, I believe, several weeks out yet. But go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. As the Mayor stated, did go back with Mr. Rogers on Friday for a formal presentation of the Value Engineering Seminar recommendations. And there were about 8 of them that came out of the session. The mayor stated that there is a report being worked on. We were hoping to get that last week, but it hasn't come out yet. So we'll make sure that you all get a draft copy of that when it's available. There were a multitude of options from about 17 different participants in the exercise, ranging from pavement design folks to roadway, bridge folks, right-of-way folks, utility folks. They did hear Haslet's concerns that were presented as to the direction of the project as it relates to the type of construction, the aesthetics, the concerns about the ability for Haslet Parkway to be expanded in the future, the right-of-way takes, coordination with adjacent properties and businesses. And one of the very important value engineering recommendations that came out of the seminar was the recommendation to look at the possibility of constructing, if you recall during my presentation, we had the center bent bridge support, looks like an inverted T, or looks like a T. One of the things that they discussed and recommended was the use of a C bent, which is basically an offset C, right? So half of a T, and trying to construct Haslet Parkway, or intermodal connection, on the north side of Haslet Parkway. That would push the project approximately 60 feet further to the north to alleviate some of the aesthetic visual concerns from the adjacent properties, as well as mitigate some of the potential sound disruptions that would be caused by the roadway. Would also minimize the right-of-way take. We would be focusing right-of-way take on the north side of Haslet Parkway instead of both. It would allow us to move forward with the expansion of Haslet Parkway towards the center, and it would also reduce the need to relocate our water and sewer facilities. I think that option also saved $23 million on the project. So on a $180 million project, that's quite a big savings. So.
It was interesting that, and how many different designs, 7, 8?
They had 6 different bridge alternatives that they were analyzing.
But even one of them is running it at grade.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But it was interesting, there was, all of them had a myriad of cost savings. And one of them, I don't recall which one it was a $59 million cost savings. So that team, they got out of the box and took our concerns, but they did a good job. We look forward to their report.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned that the one bridge design would be on the north side of Haslet Parkway, and that is hopefully potentially have some commercial properties there with, and if you have commercial properties, but then you have bridge columns all throughout their property, would that kind of make businesses not want to come there? I mean, when they have those already pre-built, or is that going to be kind of seems like that would be a deterrent for businesses to want to come?
I'm not sure. Can't speak to that because I'm not a developer per se. I do understand the concern, and we did work with Quick Trip back last summer when they were coming in, and we did reserve enough space in front of their property. We worked with them to relocate their underground tanks, as well as some of their other features that would allow for that future right-of-way acquisition. They haven't given any indication that that bridge was going to be a deterrent for their facility, because they had the opportunity. We presented them with this information last June, July, and they had about 8 months before we got through the final process with them. They were concerned about future right-of-way takes and that ability for them to continue operation, but they didn't give us any indication that would be a problem for them.
Okay.
Now the
I would
properties-
like to add that the team did ask Haslet for its land use plans, and because they were considerate of that, and we brought that up as a topic that we had to address now, because we have different investors or developers coming in inquiring, and we have to have answers. We can't wait a year before we get their final selection. But is that they were sensitive to that very aspect, is future development now and going forward.
Okay.
And we are looking right now, there's only 3 properties north of Haslet Parkway that would be impacted by the bridge. 3 properties. 2 of those are owned by City of Fort Worth. We do have cross-access planned and under construction with the Quick Trip onto what would be the farthest east property owned by Fort Worth. And so, like the mayor stated, we've sent them information as it relates to land use, as well as preliminary information on the development side, south side of the road. There's some property that's trying to develop, and they've assured us that we'll be in constant contact to make sure everybody's accommodated as best possible.
Very good. Any other questions?
Yeah, just so kind of the takeaway from this, the city was able to present, the bulk of our concerns, questions, and they seemed pretty receptive to
Yes.
at least reviewing it and, trying to work with us. Sounds like the meeting, I know it was a workshop, you were there Tuesday and Friday, but I guess, so you had TxDOT and multiple people there along with the city, so I think that's sort of a collaborative effort I think it's going to take to get some of these roads put through. 'Cause, I mean, just listening, to the online presentation for the Bonds Ranch project, where you've got cities and counties and lots of agencies involved, I think that's the collaboration we need to get some of our roadways.
And we do
moving
have
forward.
that collaboration, though we are representing Haslet's interest in how it affects our city, and our residents, and our internal commerce. That is our responsibility to do as such. What makes Haslet very unique, we are the crossroad, and we only have one road going north, 156, and Westport Parkway and Bond Ranch Road. Bond Ranch Road is not ours. It's part of that expansion project going out to the west that you just spoke of. But it is, we do have that collaborative effort.
Good.
Any other questions? All right, if we can now move to our consent agenda. Council, do you have any, any item pulled for discussion? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion, please.
Mayor Halsey,
Yes.
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Motion is made to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There is a second. Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. Let's go to item 8. 8A, discuss, consider, and act regarding the approval of the final plat of Freeman Toyota of Haslet Edition Lots 1 and 2, Block 1. Mr. Schwanke.
Mayor and members of the council, this is a plat that was at the Planning and Zoning Commission at their last meeting on the 30th of last month, and it contains 38.566 acres, and the property was annexed in October of 2024, approximately 1 year ago, and they've now are working on a zoning case, which is at the Planning and Zoning Commission. The Planning and Zoning Commission wanted some extra information and some more landscaping on the west side along Harmon Road, and they've actually done that, and I have those drawings in my possession now, and it will be taken to the Planning and Zoning Commission for their action at their next meeting. Having said that, Bill Baird, the engineer for the project, is in the audience tonight, and the project has been reviewed by our city engineer, and they're recommending approval of this plat. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Or if I can't, we have our city attorney and our city engineer and the engineer for the project.
And what about the Planning and Zoning's recommendation?
They recommended approval, and it is unanimous.
Very good. All right then.
Mayor Halsey?
Yes.
So that was my question. So what we're seeing tonight is already has the planning and zoning requested changes or additional landscaping, or will they get something in addition?
Well, the landscape is on the plan development ordinance, not on the plat.
Right.
They had no changes on the plat.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So what you're being asked for tonight is consideration of changing the zoning.
Tonight,
Right.
we're considering approving the plat. You'll be looking at the zoning in a few weeks.
Excuse me. So you're looking at the final plat. The landscaping plan will be on another document, correct?
That is correct. That's part of the plan development.
Mr. Mayor, may I
Yes.
ask a question? This particular plat that it's showing here does not show the reconfiguration of the Blue Mound and Harmon Road intersection? Would that
That's-
impact?
That realignment is not.
Not part of this project.
It's further south, to the southwest. If you look, can we pull up at some of the drawings? Yeah. Actually, go down to one of the drawings.
I'm just looking at the PDF right here.
Dedicating a little bit of right-of-way up there northwest.
There you go.
That's the one I'm looking at. See where Blue Mound and Harmon are on the left side there?
Yeah, if you could go back to the forward right there, there is a little bit of right-of-way that's being
Gotcha.
dedicated.
That looks better. Okay.
Northwest part of this site, but that intersection is a little bit further to the south, offside.
This looks better. The only question I have is, I see that there are 2 entrances to 35 Access Road.
Actually, there's 3.
Okay.
There's one on the very south side, and there's one in the middle and one on the north.
My concern is that people are going to use that as a cut through.
Well, that was one of our concerns when this was originally brought forward.
Okay.
One of the reasons why there's an access point in the back is not for traffic, the general traveling public. It is for emergency access.
Okay.
Our fire department wanted to make sure that they could get to the site without having to traverse all the way up to Haslet Parkway and then down around so they could get in there. So we're anticipating a Knox box or another Opticon type situation where they.
That's good to hear.
It'll be equipped with the Opticon system.
That's good to hear because that's going to be a future school zone right there. So I just wanted to, that was a concern of mine. So.
And that was one of the very first topics addressed is eliminate any cut through.
Thank you.
And that was very much in the dealership's interest as well as the city's.
Thank you.
All right, council, it's to you. Discuss, consider, and act.
Mr. Baird, when is do they have an estimated completion date on this project? I know that dirt's going to take like 6 months, I've heard, to do. Is it, what completion for the whole project?
I don't know a final completion date, but it's a year away at least. We've just started moving dirt, and there's a lot of dirt to move. And Mayor, responding to your comment about soil, this is very expansive soil, and under the actual footprint of the building, we are cutting on one side and filling on the other. And we did some additional soils testing, long-term consolidation, and because we're putting so much fill in one area, that there's a potential of up to 4 inches of settlement under the building. So we're going to build the building pad and let it sit before we begin the actual foundation work. And may I respond to your email comments? We only have one drive approach to Harmon Road. It will be gated, so we won't have pass-through. And P&Z asked for additional landscaping vegetation buffer along Harmon. We've added a lot of evergreen shrubs on that side to respond to the P&Z comments.
Very good. Does anybody have any other questions for Mr. Baird? All right then. Well, thank you.
Mayor Halsey?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve of the final plat of Freeman Toyota of Haslet Addition Lots 1 and 2, Block 1.
Motion has been made to approve the final plat of Freeman Toyota of Haslet Additions Lots 1 and 2, Block 1. Is there a second?
I second that.
There is a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you, council. 8B, discuss, consider, and act to award contract for a 1 million gallon welded steel ground storage tank, the FM 156 pump station improvement project. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mayor. We're getting close to actually moving forward and getting going on the field work for the FM 156 pump station. We elected to bid out the ground storage tank ahead of the site civil improvement plans, just like we had done with the pumps and the generators. We solicited bids for the project last month, well, a month and a half ago. We did receive one bid from Tank Builders. Tank Builders has a home here in Fort Worth it's off of Blue Mound Road. They consider themselves part of Haslet, but they're technically in Fort Worth. They constructed the Harmon Road ground storage tank 15 years ago for the city. They've also provided a list of, I think, 5 projects that are 1 million gallons or larger. It's very, very hard to find a welded steel tank contractor that can construct a tank this size, and that's why we only had one bid. We had several different other contractors looking to compete, but just couldn't construct a facility of this size. They are ready to get going on the tank. We're estimating that shop drawings, submittal review, et cetera, should take about 2.5 to 3 months, and then they can start the manufacturing of this tank. And that would allow this tank to arrive towards the end of spring, once our general contractor is mobilized and got the foundation constructed.
I would ask you and Mr. Tucker, this company did build that storage tank we have on Harmon Road.
Yes, sir.
Next to our water tower. How's the service of that been?
They did a great job. It was, we've not had any structural failures or any need for any really repair in the time it's been up. The coatings have held up. We were happy with the construction of the first one, so no reason to believe they won't do as good a job on this one.
So we have firsthand experience with this contractor.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you.
So what we've got before you is a bid for, I think it's $1,134,400. That would be to provide the shop drawings, manufacture the tank, deliver the tank, construct the tank on a foundation that would be done by our site civil contractor, a project that we've not awarded yet. And then these folks would also be responsible for all the coatings, interior and exterior. A lot of times we'll go through and put these tanks in as part of the site civil group of improvements. But for a tank this size and for our schedule that we're trying to meet, we want to go ahead and get going on the front end. Plus, we don't want to have to pay a general contractor to carry the note on $1 million. He's going to add 15 to 30% on top of that just for carrying and unknown costs. So we've locked in the price with these folks. We provided them with the schedule, which is in the back of your packet, showing exactly when we need the project delivered. There's some certainty with that they liked, and so they were able to give us a good price and like to move forward with awarding this contract to tank builders. We are asking for a contingency of 10%, $113,000 contingency, just in the event that we need some additional flex space. We did geotechnical bores for the foundation design, and we're sitting on 40 feet of clay out there. So the geotech wanted us to pull out 30 feet of clay. So we're in the process of trying to finalize our design on the foundation, somewhere in between, right? So that's what that contingency is for, is just for any changes necessary during the shop drawing review as a result of the final design for the foundation.
Mr. Anderson, do you have that amount in this report here?
Yes, sir.
Where's it at? If you would tell...
You go to this next page of the memo here, if you don't mind. There we are. So we're recommending a total contract amount of $1,247,840 to be funded under line item 29 there, $6.4 million. That's the amount remaining for the completion of the project. We'll have civil plans out for bid towards the end of next month, and we'll be bringing back a site civil contract for review either January or February. And that'll officially get the project kicked off, all the temporary piping, permanent piping, expansion of the existing pump house, foundations, retaining walls, while we move forward and get going with the shop drawings for this tank project.
Very good. Council, you got any questions for Mr. Anderson?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Anderson, just Cliff Notes version for the public consumption. Why do we need this tank? What's it going to do? Where's it going to be? Just
Absolutely.
real quick.
Absolutely. This is the FM 156 pump station located on the east side of 156 by the microwave tower on the hill. This facility is necessary to provide max day plus fire flow pumping for the system based on the number of rooftops that are out there in the system.
So it's to ensure that we have good water pressure throughout the system in our city?
Pressure, storage, yes, sir.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, if there are no other questions, Mr. Anderson, I'll turn it over to you, council. Discuss, consider, and act.
The Mayor, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we award a contract for a 1.0 million gallon welded steel ground storage tank, the location of FM 156 pump station improvement project in the amount of $1,247,840 to be taken out of Fund 29, line item 29-9940-01-00.
Very good. I would ask that you would include the contractor's name, and you'll find that in the first line of the sentence there.
Yes.
Awarding the contractor to Tank Builders Incorporated.
Yes.
All right, motion is made to award this contract to Tank Builders Incorporated to furnish, construct, and install a 1 million gallon ground storage tank for the FM 156 pump station improvement project. Total contract award amount is $1,247,840 to be taken out of Fund 29, line item 29, 9940-01-00. Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second.
There is a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you, council. 8C, discuss, consider, and act to consider recommendations from the Parks and Recreation Board to appoint and reappoint applicants to serve on the Parks and Recreation Board. Ms. White, you want to present this?
Okay, you should have, on the screen in front of you, the list of current park board that need reappointment for the 25-27 term. Let's see, at the October 8th, 2025 Parks and Recreation Board meeting, the board moved to recommend that City Council appoint the following for reappointments and new appointments: Dana Freeman, Place 1, Larry Dice, Place 3, Kim Dillard, Place 5, Dana Horak, Place 7, Dennis Doyon, Place 9, Alternate 1. And then I made a note that there was no recommendation for one of the applicants due to the fact that she indicated she is not a registered voter. Does anybody have any questions?
Very good. Well, thank you. All right, council, it's yours.
Mayor Halsey, I'd like to make a motion as presented.
Motion is as presented by the Parks and Recreation Board
Yes, and Ms.
recommendation.
White, correct, yes.
Motion is made to approve the nominations recommended by the Parks and Recreation Board. Is there a second?
Yes, Mayor, I'll second that.
There's a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you.
So they still have one opening, Place 8, that's vacant, okay.
What was that?
I was confirming they have one vacancy still
Yes.
in Place 8, okay.
Item 8D, discuss, consider, and act on amending the property tax revenue of line item of the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. All right, council, in your packet you have the recommendation is made. The council adopted due to the council adopted the 0.315450 per $100 valuation property tax rate. The budget needs to reflect that revenue. So going to, it would show on line item 4100, the property tax is current. That line item needs to change to $5,506,396. That page lies right behind the summary sheet. The summary sheet needs to be updated to read $5,516,396. The difference between these two, the $5,506,396, is the revenue you'll see in the, go back to what you just had. Very good, right there, stop. That is the M&O garnered from that property tax rate of 0.315450 per $100 valuation. The second line item that is, which would be on page 2, I believe, do you have that in this package? It would be behind, okay, scroll on down. You don't. That's it. This is what you have? All right. Council, you're all aware, okay. The $5,516,396 is inclusive of the $5,506,396, but any interest and other incidental revenue associated with the taxes, ad valorem taxes. That's why the two numbers are different. Any questions? All right then. If I could have a proposal or a motion, please.
I so move, Mayor, that we accept the changes to the budget as you have so eloquently given us. I think we've discussed this multiple times. So I think we're all aware of the changes that need to be made.
Motion is made to, on page 2 of the budget is line item 4100 property taxes current is to update that number to $5,506,396. On the, that was the revenues page. On the general fund overall budget summary page, update the property tax line item to $5,516,396. Is there a second?
Mayor Halsey, I'll second that.
There is a second. Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. All right then.
There we go. There we go.
Item 8E, discuss, consider, and act on developing a scope of work and request for proposal for hiring a qualified professional firm to develop a comprehensive park plan for the Nance Fields and Firehouse Fields and a Nance Field Park Master Plan and a Firefields Park Master Plan. These plans are needed to guide the future improvements and ensure these parks meet the community's recreational needs. All right then. Councilman Gilbert asked for this item. Is there anything we would like to add to this?
I don't remember what city council meeting it was, maybe 2 months ago or so. We tabled this for a later date. And I wanted to bring this back up because I feel like this is something that needs to get done with all the activities that are on the Firehouse Fields, the Nance Fields every weekend. And so I brought this back up so that we could get a landscape architect company to come in and hire somebody to get an RFP to get us a very professional park master plan for these two areas. And we can find out what we can do for this. Around 30 acres is the Firehouse Field, I believe, and then the Nance Fields. I think there's a lot of potential here, and I think there's a lot of potential in these two areas. And so I think that if we can narrow down something, we could kind of have some ideas, something for in the spring whenever they start baseball again.
Very good. Very good. Well, that's your presentation, council.
Well, I want to add a question. Did we have a budget in mind for what the cost of the master plan
No, there is no budget, but that would be brought forth. It would be a proposal, and in that proposal would be a proposed amount. And you would have to, one, is to approve that, but also approve the budget for it. So it'd be a budget amendment.
Okay.
I thought in the August 4th meeting that we discussed $300,000 for a park master plan, and we know that that's just a budget. That's not gonna.
Is that in the budget?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that was in
Now
the-
I'm looking back and we did.
We talked about that at the August 4th meeting, and that's just a budget number. It might cost $150,000, but we had to budget something.
Okay, so that's in the budget.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, very good. There's the answer on that budget
Okay.
number.
And when this company does a master plan, we're also going to have to get an updated survey for these areas, because I don't know when's the last time we did a survey of the firehouse fields, but we've added a parking lot, we've added other things out there, so a new survey will be required for this.
Well, that has been surveyed.
Since we put in the parking lot?
We have all of that property surveyed. Yes.
Sounds
I mean,
good.
that's current information that we have, but that would be included in the statement of work.
Okay.
All of that's why we would develop a statement of work. And once we agree on that, then we go out for the RFP.
Do you know how old that survey is?
Mike, how old is that survey? I know that you folks did that, had that done. It was within the last year and a half.
Yes, sir, we've got a survey that we did when we constructed the parking facility.
Okay.
Out of the dirt that was out there. And then we updated the survey with the design of the sewer line that was put in it's a few months ago. So between the two surveys, we've got all the facilities that are out there currently.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I was thinking the survey might have been pretty old. It might not have the new parking lot still on there, so that's good
Yes,
to
sir.
know. So that
We updated that one. Yes, sir.
that's a big cost expense. We had to have somebody go do it, so that's good.
Yes, sir.
No, there's a lot of current information that we have. You check with us and we'll share that with you.
All right, that's one thing because it also talks about the survey, topo and drainage for 18 acres behind Firehouse Field. Is that the survey
Yes.
you're referring to? Okay, yeah, we talked about that at the budget workshop on the 2nd, and you said that the planners have it and they're beginning to look at it, but that you'd bring it to us. So I guess we haven't, that's finished and we can get a copy of that?
Copy of what?
What did you say? The planners have it right now and are beginning to look at it. The survey, topo, drainage, 18 acres behind Firehouse Field, and then conceptual layout of 18 acres behind Firehouse Field. Those are the two things that were discussed at the budget workshop and I see it now when you suggested 300,000, so.
There has been a very, very preliminary look at that, and then I know the council started talking about doing a master plan of sorts, so we just stopped.
Oh, okay, so
Because that's been stopped.
So that $25,000 hasn't been
That's
expended?
not that. No.
Okay. So that.
Nothing spent out of that $300,000.
Well, no, not that. I'm talking about there was already 10,000 for the survey and topo and drainage and 25,000 for the conceptual layout. Has that already been done?
The conceptual layout, there's a very cursory look. It is nothing that would be of quality to bring to the council. So I recommend you just proceed with this master plan.
Okay, but $25,000 was spent on that?
No, $25,000 has not been spent.
That was just budgeted for it?
That was a budget.
Okay. Thank you.
So could I get a motion?
I was just gonna say, Councilman Gilbert, this is a great idea. Bringing in fact to, the girls and the girls softball has been getting shafted for far too long. And I think this is gonna be a great opportunity to be able to potentially create Nance into a softball complex for the girls and have the Firehouse Field be baseball for the boys, since, currently Firehouse has in some of the boys baseball and some has to be at Nance, and because of that, the girls softball gets shafted. It only has one small field and can't even have any home games. So we definitely need to make sure we take care of the ladies and make sure that we have something then. So thank you for bringing this to attention, because that's something that I think will be really important to a lot of our citizens. And then that'll give us a fresh look that we know what we're looking and how we can game plan the future and everything forward. So thank you for bringing this up.
Is there a motion here?
Something else I wanted to say, Mayor Halsey. I know when I went back to the budget, and we talked about this for about, I don't know, it seemed like about 10, 15 minutes, that it was also mentioned the 77 acres as a sports facility. Is that something that needs to be done in a separate plan? We're only suggesting Firehouse and Nance as the 2 ball fields we currently have, which I'm okay with.
Well, I don't
but-
recall anything about the 77 acres
Yeah, it was
being
said
a
at the
forest.
6 hour, 37 minute and 19 seconds at the August 2nd budget meeting is when it was brought up. And
Well,
then-
okay, but let me focus you on this agenda item.
That's what I'm saying, is that something where
That'd
this
be a
is
separate
separate?
topic.
Yeah, separate, that's kind of what I was thinking too.
So this agenda item addresses Nance Field and the Firehouse Fields.
But we can make an amendment if we wanted to, if I wanted to add that as well.
You would have to add a lot more money probably.
Right, or for the plan?
I would, you can do this at a later time. You might go ahead and go with this and get some information on what things cost.
All right, okay, thank you.
Mayor Halsey, I'd like to make a motion.
Please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve developing a scope of work and request for proposal for hiring a qualified professional firm to develop a comprehensive park plan for the Nance Field and Firehouse Fields, a Nance Field Park Master Plan, and a Fire Fields Park Master Plan. These plans are needed to guide future improvements and ensure these parks meet the community's recreational needs.
Motion is made to approve the development of a scope of work and a request for proposal for hiring a qualified professional firm to develop a comprehensive plan for the Nance Fields and Firehouse Fields, and a Nance Field Park Master Plan and a Firehouse Fields Park Master Plan. Is there a second?
Do we need to put an amount or just,
You don't need an amount.
No, okay,
You
then
don't
I'll
know what
second.
the amount is. That will come back with the proposal.
with the bids? Okay, then I'll second.
There is a second.
Got it.
Any further discussion?
Yes, just one question on, developing the scope of work and request for proposal. Who takes on that?
I would suggest that it is Mr. Gilbert and the staff. Very good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, and
And so there's been a motion and a second. Any
I'd just
further-
say if we could maybe include somebody from the park board, just so they're in tune with what's going on.
I think that's a great idea.
Very good. Okay. There's a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? All in favor?
One last thing, Mayor Halsey, if you don't mind. Do we need to point out that we've already set a budget amount for this in the budget, or does that not matter?
That does not matter.
Okay, thanks, sir.
There's a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion?
Mayor, call the question.
Do you understand what call the question is? Okay, call the question means you want to stop deliberation, and that requires a second. A call to question motion has been made. Is there a second? There is no second. Your motion dies. So is there any further discussion? There is none. Then I'll call the question. All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. All right, council, at this time at 8:05 p.m., I'll recess the open session, and if you'll meet me in the boardroom in, let's make it 10 minutes. I've got to go next door to get some materials, but in 10 minutes, and that would be, according to my clock, it would be 8:16. Open session is recessed at 8:06 p.m.
But some of this construction, I mean, am I allowed to ask questions about like the bridge that's coming in and stuff? Or can I ask y'all questions about it?
Yeah, as a, anybody from God's green earth to come up here and ask, make a comment.
Yeah, I live
Now,
right down the road.
Okay, we're not going to discuss, but you can make a comment.
Yeah, okay.
And administration can make a comment.
I was just wondering how long the construction's gonna last once it starts.
Well, there's lots of construction, I don't know which one you're talking about.
The bridge that's gonna be coming in off of, 170.
When it starts, it would probably, you know, actual construction could start, you know, in 2.5 to 3 years from now, and it will probably go for a couple of years.
That's gonna push more truck traffic down Haslet, down 156.
You call me, I will be the person to call.
Okay.
Where do you live?
I live on 156 right there in, Trails. Just right on Haslet here, I'm right here.
Are you recording? All right, very good. All right, I reconvene the open session of the council meeting at 8:37 p.m. All the members of the council are present. There is no action to be taken from the executive session. Go to item 11, future agendas. We have that you'll see in November, I believe it is, the contract award for Schreiber Drive drainage. Also, you'll see the Fund 20 road improvements. That's what we were reviewing prior, that throughout the city, inclusive of Brentwood, and I do believe inclusive of Odessa. See that included. And then also the Cross City Church community facilities. Is there any other items?
You had mentioned there might be some appointments coming in November.
More of other boards, yes. I do believe there are other ones coming. The library board particularly, I believe.
Mr. Mayor, is that Cross City, is that the one that's being built on Haslet Parkway?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay.
All right. Then, given that, I adjourn this meeting at 8:39 p.m.